Okay, let's implement our highlighter function. Let's call this function highlighter, and it's taking a string. So what does this function do? Well, this function is going to take the testing string that you typed, which is the string right here, and it's going to loop through all of these tiles from the virtual keyboard, and it's going to match the text content of the string to the text content of these keys. Okay? And then it's going to find the right key and then turn the background to orange. So let's do that. Now, first things first, let's select all of these tiles. I'll do const all tiles is equal to document.query selector all, selecting all tiles. Okay. Now, I want to find the target and the shift key. The easiest way is that I'm going to use the find method. But to use the find method, you cannot use selector all because it returns a node list. So you have to convert it to an array using the spread operator. Okay. All right. So now I'll say const target will be equal to all titles dot find. Well, what is it finding? It's going to find a tag where the tag's text content is equal to our string that we passed in, right? But we have to uppercase that string because why? If you look on the right, all of these letters are capitalized. Okay. Now we want to find one that matches that, and we also want to find one where the tag text content length is less than 3. Okay, because we don't want the caps to be highlighted and we don't want the shift to be highlighted. But we do want these up here, which has text content length of 2, to be highlighted, and also these as well. And talking about that, we need to fix this right here. So instead of equal to string.to uppercase, let's do dot includes. So it will also work with ones where there's more than one string length. Okay. All right. And then down here, we can say target.style.background is equal to orange. Okay, now, our new problem, where do we call this highlighter function? Well, after they did the onClick start, right, we're going to render the text and then call handle typing. So on top of handle typing, I'm going to call the first highlighter. But what string do we pass in? Well, it's the first one. So text at 0. Remember, our text is up here. Okay. All right. So that's going to handle the first one when we type. So let's see that. See, if we type D, then it works. But now it's not erasing and it's not moving on. So how do we take care of that? All right. So let's see down here. After they type it correctly, we're going to check to see, hey, does the next div exist? And if it exists, using the double and operator, we're going to call highlighter, passing in next div dot text content. Okay, all right, let's see now. I'll type in Philip as my name. Start. Okay, it starts with a P, H, I. Oh, I missed the H. I. Okay, now you see that we have 3 oranges now, but we don't want that to happen. Okay, so right here, every time we run highlighter, let's take all the tiles and go through each one of them. Tile, and then let's do tile.style.background is equal to, none, like this. Okay, so if I go again, type in Philip, Phillip. Cool, right? We got everything done. Now, let's talk about how we can do our shift button, right? What we want to do is that if the letter starts with a capital, like PH, not only should the P be orange, but the shift should also be highlighted, something like yellow. Okay, so let's tackle that next. First, let's select our shift button. Remember, the shift button is also part of the tiles class, right? So we can do const, let's go to shift, btn is equal to, and then we can literally just do the same thing here, except we don't need this part. We don't need this. So we're going to return if tag.text content is equal to shift, like this. All right. So now, every time that we do this, let's set our shift button .style.background to none. Okay. And then how do we know if we should turn on the shift? Well, we turn it on when it's a capital letter or when it's one of the special characters that needs it, right? But how will we know that? Well, we just do const special keys is equal to, and then you can do something like this. You can do a string and then spread operator, and then you can just enter in all of the special keys. Okay, so then I'll do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And then after that, you can do all of the special characters as well, the ones that require a shift. So I'm just going to type it in. I think I got all of them like that. Okay. And then now the spread operator will spread all of these out into individual values. Okay. And then down here, since we're still inside of highlighter, you can just say if special keys dot includes, and this way we don't have to use rejects, right? If it includes the string, right, then it means we need to capitalize it. And that means a shift button that we just selected, .style.background, will be equal to yellow. Okay. All right. So now on the right, let's test. I'm going to do regular A, capital A, regular B, capital B, regular C, capital C, like that. Okay. So for the first A, it's highlighting A, right? But the shift is not. For the second A, which is capital, it turns yellow. Okay. Then for the B, which is regular, there's no shift. And then for the capital B's, you see that it turns on again. Okay. So the last thing I want to show you is how to determine if the user has pressed caps lock or not. So if they press caps, let's change this to caps on and then caps off and so on. And that'll be the last thing. Okay, let's handle our caps lock. First of all, let's find a way to select this caps tile. Easiest way is, let's just go back here. I'll just give it an ID in here. So here I can say if tile.textContent includes caps, then tile.id will be caps. Okay. So then down here we can say const caps btn like this will be equal to document dot get element by id, and then the id was caps. Okay, so now you can do something like document dot on key down will be equal to, let's do an arrow function. Now, one way to check if they press the caps lock key is event.get modifier state. Okay, and get modifier state, you can only call this method when you use things like on key down, on key press, but you can't use it on things like click because it doesn't make sense. Okay, so I'll say const is caps on will be equal to this. So this will be either true or false. Okay. So now you can say something like, let's select the caps btn and set its text content will be equal to, hey, if the caps is on, its text content will be caps on. Okay. And if not, its text content is going to be caps off, like that. Okay. Okay. So now let's try here. See caps on, caps off, caps on, caps off. And it'll even work while we type. Caps on, caps off. Now we can even do something like, let's see, caps btn dot style dot background is equal to, so if the caps is on, let me give it chartreuse. And if not, it will be light gray, like this. Okay, on, off,